episode on the Deja Summit. I'm so happy to have Kelly with me today, who is a wellness and a life coach. And I just am on the same page with her with everything that her and I talk about. She's going to share with you her 3 non-negotiables as you're setting your weight loss goals and your New Year's resolutions. Kelly, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is great. We are so on the same page. We're so like-minded. I thank Lara for connecting us.
Yes. And every time I've talked to you, we jump right in and we start talking and we're like, oh yeah, we're doing an interview today, but you and I could just talk forever.
I know, totally right. Yeah.
So
True.
we've already talked for a while before we let everyone else join us here.
Yeah, we had our little girl talk chit chat.
Yeah. So you're going to help the audience to understand 3 non-negotiables as they're setting their New Year's resolutions and they're focused on their weight.
Yes. There's so much that goes into weight loss. People think that, I have to go on a diet, I have to go out in it. And so my mission is, I specialize in helping women over 40 get off the diet cycle and lose weight, really kind of help out with those perimenopausal and menopausal things, the low energy, the stress, bad sleep, and the weight. And it's all about lifestyle. So these are the 3 things we're going to talk about today are some of the 3 important things. A lot more goes into it, but these are things that I think people don't quite realize. And the first thing is it's all about the insulin. And when we are spiking, our blood sugar levels are going up and down all day. That doesn't give our body a chance to get into fat burning. And that can cause weight gain and that weight loss resistance. And I'm sure plenty of people watching can think they're doing so many of the right things, but they'll lose a little and then it'll stop. And that's because they're not eating in the right balance with the right macros and the insulin. I mean, it is the key. And I think people don't really realize that. They think insulin has to do with something with diabetes, and we know our bodies are producing. And so how do we stop that blood sugar spiking all throughout the day and that insulin surge? There's a few ways to do it. We're balancing the macros, but one way in particular is getting enough protein. And it's incredible how people are not eating enough protein. You really need to be eating to balance it. You want to be getting some protein at every meal and snack if possible, or at least most. And, I've talked to clients that have come to me, and when we kind of assess where they're at and they're only having like maybe 15 grams of protein in an entire day. Well, there you go.
Yeah. There's my confession. That's my confession. I don't eat enough protein. I've always leaned vegetarian and I just don't like protein shakes. And it's something I'm trying to make a concerted effort, especially now postmenopausal.
Yeah.
Because I am noticing I've had those bone density scans and the muscle scans, the body scans in body at the gym, and I'm losing muscle mass and bone density. And when we lose our muscle mass, our metabolism reduces.
Yes, exactly. So that's another way that it impedes your weight. And it's so true. And it's so important for bone density. And your muscles, like your body's saying, look, I got to get protein somewhere. So it does get it from your muscles. So that's why it causes, muscle weakness and makes your muscles not perform in the way they should be.
With all the marketing messages about whole grains, and the bottom of the food pyramid, the whole base, the food pyramid is grains. I think as a society, we took our eye off of protein. And even though I just lean vegetarian, not for any other reason than since I was a child, I gravitate towards vegetarianism, and I'm trying to eat more protein. I am eating more meat. I am not against eating meat. I probably even need to consume more meat than what I eat. But I think that societally we're being pushed into veganism or vegetarianism because we keep hearing plant-based.
Right.
And so less and less do I see a focus on protein. So I'm really glad that you brought this up.
Yeah, and you're right. You're absolutely right. And plant-based is great. And you can actually get enough protein plant-based. I have been pescatarian for many years. Pescatarian is helpful because at least I can eat fish. But there's a lot of ways to get plant-based protein. And even many vegetables have protein in them. So that's why I really make sure my clients have a good list of proteins and what the grams are. And so they can plan it out, and they're surprised. It's like, oh, I don't need to eat a cheeseburger to get all my protein. So it can be done.
Yeah, I know like kale has a high dose of protein,
Uh,
right? But I think
yeah,
most people think beans.
right. And yes, you do need, some form of actual protein, but and I'm a big advocate of as many vegetables as you can possibly get, the leafy greens. And if you're eating as many vegetables and leafy greens and all those things, then you're getting even more protein. So
Right.
that helps. And yeah, the whole grains, I'm against no carbohydrates. It's the right carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of, I get my people off diets. There's no, I don't want anybody on or off a diet. It's a lifestyle. And then that way it's not difficult. You don't have to think about it. You just enjoy a delicious food. You get down to your goal weight. And most importantly, you feel good. The focus is on health. You just want to feel good, have that energy. And then the weight loss is like a byproduct, and managing the weight and not having, that's why, and it's like, there's no, I didn't wave a magic wand, but I'm in my 50s, postmenopausal, and I'm at my happier weight than I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I stay there, and I still enjoy, and I don't always eat perfect search. It's like I'll have wine, or, treats that aren't, perfect or whatever. But when you are doing most of the things right, most of the time, well, I say right, but really fortifying your body with the nutrient dense foods and balancing that, so you're not getting those insulin spikes most of the time, then you have wiggle room. You can go out with the girls and do a girls' night out and have nachos and margaritas. Can you do that every night? No, that's gonna, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, I can get away with it for a night. It's when it turns into 2 or 3 nights in a row, because food is very addictive. A lot of those foods have been made to be addictive. So,
Right.
we have some speakers on here talking about the casomorphines and the glutamorphines.
Yeah.
Some of those foods, when we start eating them, they're difficult to stop eating them. But
That's the trick. Yeah.
no one tends to overeat fish, you know?
No. Or a plate of greens. Exactly.
Well,
So,
right. We don't overeat those things because our body knows, okay, I just got the nutrients I needed and now I'm
yeah.
satisfied.
Right.
Oftentimes, those other foods, those whole grain food, what we think are whole grains, which are probably not whole grains, uh, those have been made to be really addictive, but it's also not giving our body the nutrients it needs. So,
Right.
at least in my
So,
observation, we continue to be hungry.
exactly. Exactly. And I think that's why I do have success. And this is what I help my clients, is because you have that satisfied feeling,
Yes.
and it's true. And yes, there are so many ingredients that are addictive. And that's why, like Dr. Iflan, she was on my summit, she's on your, that's why she's like, it's not your fault. It's really not. Some of them are, as she says, more addictive than recreational drugs. So, the food supply is atrocious, and big food companies are not worrying about our health. They are worrying about their bottom line. So,
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing that we agree on, one of your other non negotiables would be the obesogenic skincare products or personal care products, which I'm so happy to hear you say that because we don't often talk about that. And it's a huge component to our overall health and our metabolism.
yes, it's such a huge component, and people are not, I mean, it's more people are talking about it, and there's more awareness, but not near enough. I always say it's like the biggest cover up since the tobacco industry. Doctors are like, oh, smoke while you're pregnant, no problem. These toxins in our personal care products. So that means, yes, makeup, but all personal care products, those things that children and men are using as well. Our skin is our largest organ, right? And we don't absorb every single molecule, but we absorb enough that it goes in. And some scientists say it's more dangerous than eating
Yep.
things. And because your liver's doesn't have such a chance to detoxify what you put on. And there's a whole class of toxins now. There's endocrine disruptors, which mess up who knows what part of your endocrine system. It could be your adrenals, your thyroid, your metabolism, your neurological. I mean, there's no, no wonder there's autism and ADHD and all these things are so on the rise, because the chemical industry, I mean, the chemicals in all these products we're using more and more. 20% of them are tested for safety. So we're definitely using, products that have chemicals that are very harmful. So, and then others are carcinogens, which means they are linked to cancer. And studies are showing this. So, and then there's neurotoxins and even allergens and irritants. But then some of these that are very commonly used are, yes, what you said, obesogenic toxins. And they alter your metabolism, they alter your fat stores, they can increase the number and the size of your fat stores. And this happens on a cellular level. It's chemically induced weight gain and chemically induced weight loss resistance. Just like when I'm sure many people watching have maybe gone on a medication and out of nowhere, they're gaining 5, 10, even 15 pounds purely from a medication. That's chemically induced weight gain. These obesogenic toxins work the same exact way. And our bodies respond to tiny doses. Because I think some people think, well, it's not that much, but think about all the ingredients and all the products we're using on a daily basis.
Yeah, I used to give a presentation when I owned my wellness spa, and I showed the number of chemicals on average in personal care products, everything from shampoo, conditioner, body wash, soap, shaving cream.
Yeah.
All of the things. And I said, by the time you've had your first coffee in the morning, you've probably put 400 chemicals on your body.
Yes.
400. See, we only think, oh, there's only a little bit and I only used a little bit, but it's a little bit of a lot of things.
Exactly.
And it's continuous because you use them every day. And our skin is our largest organ and it goes right to our bloodstream. So we don't have the digestive system. We don't have stomach acid to weed anything out.
Yes.
Directly into the bloodstream.
That's right. Yes, exactly. It's just a little freeway on ramp going boom right in there. Yeah, it's so true.
Yes,
so
it
true.
is. Yeah. So these are things that people are not thinking about. This is fantastic information. And you're postmenopausal like me. You don't look it, but I know that you've told me you are. So what else do you have your clients do? What is your third non-negotiable?
Well, and it's funny, my clients, they'll come to me for certain things and then they're wowed by the toxic issue. And that is something that really the light bulb goes on. And because I help them, really reduce that toxic load. It's funny, most people, they're kind of, people don't care about it, but when they learn, then they're like, wait a minute. Okay. And they switch things over. They realize just how serious it is. So the third one, and like I said, there's many things that go into it. Like my program is, I call it the Body Harmony program. And there's so much more than just food, goes into losing the weight, but also keeping it off and also just feeling good and healthy, putting the best version of you out there. And one key I think that helps, I know that helps every area of life, whether it's, your health, your weight, any goal you're trying to reach, your relationships, your career, is mindset. Mindset is so important. And, because in our identity, we take on an identity, and many, especially women, we're guilty of that identity of saying, well, I just have no willpower. Oh, I've always been a little heavy. It's just, that's what it is. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to cook right. You tell yourself and you just become that person. And so we want to, and the great thing about the brain is you can rewire the neural pathways, but it does take some repetition and time, but you want to just change over your mindset. And it works because the brain they used to think the brain was more fixed, but now we know we can change things. And your brain is just looking for what's safe and comfortable. So that's another thing, just like with the food addiction and stuff. It's not your fault. That's why we need to change some habits slowly and make them habits, like brushing your teeth, so it doesn't become such a drudge. And you do that, and then that's why there's no such thing as willpower. You don't have to put the willpower in, because you just make it a habit. And your brain comes into play because your brain wants to keep you safe and comfortable. So whatever is normal, that's what it wants you to do, even if it's not, quote unquote, good for you. If the normal thing is you come home from work and you sit on the couch and, eat a bag of chips and watch TV, that's what the brain is. This is what we're doing. So if you want to change that to, taking a power walk every day after work or going straight to the gym, then we change the habit, and then the brain will not lead you to go to the couch. The brain's like, no, 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 we go on this power walk, we go to the gym, or we get right in the kitchen and, start that nutrient dense meal for the family, whatever it is that you want to do. Same with like, water. You want to be drinking more water, you adopt the identity, I'm a water drinker. So you get that in your brain, and then you create the habit of drinking more water. It's amazing how people don't drink enough water.
Right.
And that is so important. Oh my gosh. Water is so important for flushing things out and weight loss and skin. Our bodies will pull water from our blood, from our skin cells, because it needs it for the blood. So on a beauty level, your skin, that's going to cause dryness and sagging and aging. So that's why I always used to get so irritated with celebrities when they were asked, oh, what's your number one beauty secret? And, oh, I drink a lot of water. And it's like, oh, come on. What else do you? They're doing other things too, but water is so important for health and beauty. And so is sleep. There's so many things. It's like, and the other thing is, so many people aren't sleeping well, especially over 50 and even over 40. So you're balancing all your nutrients, you're stopping that insulin stuff, you're getting rid of some of these toxins, because these toxins lead to so many things: the brain fog, sore joints, it can impede your metabolism, but your sleep and all these things. And then you get the mindset, and things just can fall into place without so much effort.
I love how you attribute that to mindset, like claim the identity of being a water drinker.
Yeah.
Like there is something to that. Like instead of saying, I can't drink more water, I don't have time to go to the gym, I'm not a yoga person, or I'm not exercise, I'm not fit. I love how you address mindset in creating the identity of who they want to be.
Yes.
And I've always come at it more from habit. You mentioned habits, and but the mindset's really important, because even I will say, oh, I don't like lifting weights, but we really need to, ladies, especially after 40.
So important.
So important for our muscle density and our bone density.
Yeah.
So I could hear some of the things. I was smiling, so I'm like, how many things do I say to myself? Like, I don't like to lift weights, I don't have time.
Oh, we're all guilty of it, even us coaches. I mean, I believe me, I'm a work in progress too. It's and I've been there, and and the other thing is, it's a muscle. The mindset thing is a muscle. Like you need to work on it, just like you do. You can't go to the gym once a month, and it's everything is one step after the other, and it all leads to it. So,
And that's why I focus on repetition. You brought up brushing your teeth, and I always say to people, that was a learned habit. You
yeah,
didn't come out of the womb doing that. You were taught
right.
at some point,
And
and
you fought it. Toddlers, like, you fought it. You wouldn't do it. You would never brush your teeth if you had your way.
right. But now you do it every day, right? You do
Yeah,
that.
without even thinking about it.
Probably twice a day, and you feel gross if you don't. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about my detox methods.
Yeah.
When I teach people live drainage or drinking more water. And now when I don't do those things, it's like going a day without brushing my teeth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's so true. I love that you said that. And that's my goal for my clients and everybody watching is, yeah, you get to it. And it's hard to conceptualize that. And they're like, really? But, and sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes, you have to kind of, yeah, like I said, you have to just keep on with it. And then it does, it's almost miraculous. Really, whatever you want, it's put your
Well,
mind to it.
isn't it your observation, though, that people are not feeling optimal? And because of that, the thought, even just hearing us say that, they're thinking, oh God, I can't do another thing. There's no way I could do that every day. But it's because they are lacking the energy and vitality.
Yes.
Yes. And so as soon as they make the first step and clear some of the brain fog, release some of the excess baggage, which that I'm not even referring to weight. I'm talking about, it could be all the chemicals that they're putting in their body, and they release those. And now all of a sudden their cells all have more vitality. Do you know how
Yes.
many people would get frustrated with me, Kelly, over the years? I give a lecture on detoxification, and I'm accredited here in Michigan. So I teach nurses and social workers, and they all want to hear how to detoxify. And I say, okay, this is going to sound really anticlimactic, but step one stop putting toxins in your body. Like they all think there's some big, like they got to go for chelation therapy.
Right, right, yeah.
And I say, how about step one? You start detoxifying the day that you stop putting toxins in your body. Your
Exactly.
body can now start processing and dealing with what you do have in your body if you stop putting more in.
Stop feeding the fire, fueling that fire.
That's
In
all
fact,
we have to do.
I'm sure you know, there's been studies, there's a Berkeley study where for 3 days, they tested teenage girls, they, tested their blood. And for 3 days, they had them switch all over to non-toxic beauty, personal care, everything. And after 3 days, many of the levels dropped just after 3 days.
I didn't know about that study, but that's amazing. I need to take that to the nurses and social workers when I go out and lecture, because I don't think they believe me. They think there needs to be, they work in the medical system. They think there's got to be some big drug or process or surgery to surgically remove. It's
Like,
like,
no, our bodies, our cells regenerate. And as long as you're, I mean, there's great things you can do, like skin brushing and Epsom salt baths, and just drinking a lot of water is detoxifying in itself. Lemon water is detoxifying. So yeah, in part of my helping people reduce toxic load, I have a whole detoxification thing, but really the key is don't use toxic things on your body.
so everybody listening, if you have set New Year's resolutions for optimal health or for weight loss, Kelly just gave you 3 non-negotiables, 3 things that are simple. If you just remove the toxicity, you address the mindset, and we make sure we're not spiking our blood sugar, and eat more protein. Okay, I made a mental note on that one, Kelly, because I have to eat more protein too. I think the last time someone figured it out for me, I'm supposed to be consuming 100 to 150 grams of protein a day, and I'm nowhere near that. So
Now, see, I think that's high. I think
it's high too. It's based
a
on,
woman. You're not you're not a big person. I mean, like, I mean, I'd say 70 is even plenty. 70 to 80, and I think that's somebody that's like pretty strict about protein is going to say that.
yeah.
Because
Well,
that
I'm probably not even near that. So this will have to be my New Year's resolution to get more protein.
but really even for women your size, I mean, even if you aim for around 50, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be, you know what I mean, aim for B+ work. You know what I mean? and then on day
I was a straight A student.
yeah.
You
But yeah,
know,
I have to think about the protein as well. I've been guilty of that myself. Absolutely. Especially being pescatarian. It's like, I don't eat meat, but I do eat plant-based stuff. But yeah, it's a you have to make the concerted effort. And when I say effort, again, when I have just certain go-to things. And so doesn't have to be that hard.
right. You know, I say, I was joking, but I was a straight A student, but what I find is I have a lot of clients who the reason they're confused is because they were the straight A student. And so they're trying to do everything that they have been told to do, and they're not honoring their own intuition. So, the straight A student wants to pass the test, which means we need to be able to do what we were told to do. And there's a part of this where we're going to remove the interference. We're going to address the mindset. We're definitely going to be aware of insulin spikes, get our protein. But then there's a piece of this where when you work with people as a wellness coach or a life coach, you're helping them tune into what's best for them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's so true. And also, we're taught and told the wrong thing. The diet industry sets us up for failure. So these people think, well, I should go on a diet. I should do one of these plans. Well, keto's working for people. This is working. Well, Weight Watchers, whatever it is. And so that's why they think they're doing it wrong, because they're not on some plan.
Yeah.
And it's that, I'm so against diets, because what is the percentage? Percentage is so high of people who go on these diets, even the ones that have a decent plan like Weight Watchers, and then they gain the weight back. It's because you've got to change all these things.
Yeah.
Got to get your body in balance to burn the fat. You get the mindset. You could, and then have it all be a non-issue. So you're not worrying about it. What should I eat? What should I not eat? And it's just lifestyle. That's my goal for people, is it's lifestyle. And so you're not on or off a diet, and progress, not perfection. I always say that too, because no one's going to eat all the right things and do all the right things every single day. No one, not me, not you, not, it's, and you got to live a little, and it's, and just, and you don't have to worry about it. And you can live a little if you're just doing most of the things, making progress and consistency, just being consistent. As
This
long
is
as
why
you're,
people need a coach.
yes,
This
yes,
is how we ended up doing this work,
yeah,
is our own journey. We've had our own successes, and we've helped many, many other people.
yeah,
And that's why we're here, to provide this support and resource network of us, so that people can work with one of us, any
yeah,
of us. I say get a
yeah,
coach though, because we're going against everything that you've been conditioned. The commercials on TV, the marketing messages are all meant to mislead you. And this is why people are confused. And I even wrote an ebook years ago called From Confusion to Clarity, because my clients were like, I'm just so confused. And I'm like, that's the
yes.
problem.
That is exactly, exactly. That's why I love when clients are like, wow, like I'll make it more simple for them. No, you don't have to do that. And they're like, huh, because they think, and I think that's one of the reasons people don't seek out coaches, is they think, oh, I'm gonna have to give up too much. It's gonna be too hard. When really it's the opposite. It's like, we're here to make it easier for you to reach your goals in a more, I mean, yes, there's gonna have to be changes. If you're going to the drive-through every single day, that you know what I mean? Like, yes, there's certain things, but I'm just a big proponent of no ridiculous restriction and no deprivation, because deprivation makes you want things more, and
Yep.
it's just going to backfire.
Yep. That's why I
And
started.
I'm starting to work with men as well, because I'm partnering with one of the gentlemen who spoke on my summit. He's a physical therapist, but also a fitness expert. And so, and I used to teach aerobics back in the day, but I don't have like a certification. I do help my clients incorporate that safe movement, because too much exercise backfires, especially for women in perimenopause and menopause, and causes stress. And so, it's about moving your bodies and getting that weight loss. I mean, that weight strength training to do the things, but not an hour in the gym. That's why you do have time to move your body and work out when you know the right moves. So we're going to be partnering to help women, but also men, and also couples.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I'm excited. That's a new thing for 2023. So
Well, I think that sums up really well. As a coach, we make your life easier.
yeah,
Kelly can make your life easier. Let her give you the shortcuts. You don't
yes,
have to take the scenic route, I promise you. And if you're confused, it's because you're listening to too many people.
exactly.
Find someone who has distilled this information, who has implemented this information, and who can be a guide for you. That's what a coach is. And the other thing that I'm just, really kind of tired of hearing over the last 15 years is coaches are too expensive, or I wish coaches took it, insurance. The only reason health coaches exist is because insurance isn't covering what needs to be covered.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is an investment in your life and your livelihood. That's a really small price to pay. And you know who
Yeah.
usually pays that? People who've already lost their health, because once they lose it, they'll pay anything to get it back. But
Exactly.
I would encourage people to really look at your New Year's resolutions. If this is a deja vu for you and you're setting the same goals this year that you set last year, get a coach. Get a coach
Yes.
and achieve your
Yep. Exactly. We can give you the shortcut, the fast track. And exactly. Stop listening to all the things and trying to piecemeal and start and stop and go on and off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with me today, Kelly.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Everyone will have links to Kelly's site, so make sure you reach out to her. And until next time, farewell.